What's up guys, it's Choice Trades back with another video. Today we're going to be giving an update on Rivian. I made a video on this company a few months back. There's been some updates, so I want to start addressing them. It's been a while since I made a video, sorry about that, but I'm back now. I'm going to try to keep posting again. Now before we get into it, make sure to subscribe and like if you want to see more content like this, and without further ado, let's give the updates. Alright, so this was actually one of my first videos. I was actually holding that stock for over a year before I made that video. I'd always loved it. I love the company. And since I made that video, it's gone up 50%. I think this was yesterday's charge, might have changed since then, but 50%. So pretty good. I don't think this is the end. And it's actually gone up for reasons outside of my thesis, which actually makes it even better, to be honest. But if you want to see my full thesis and explain everything, I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video. I'm just going to be talking about the updates. If you want to see the full thesis, make sure to check out the video. I'll link to it in the description. So number one is kind of like an AI rebranding. So they had their AI and Autonomy Day. It was huge for them. They released a ton of new updates, and there's a lot of great things that came out of it. So they released a new in-house AI chip that allows them to gain those cost savings and reduces NVIDIA dependence. So good things all around, because they could end up selling these processors to other car companies as well. People forget that before Rivian was Rivian, they were Mainstream Motors. They used to work in autonomous driving. I mean, RJ himself, he is a PhD from MIT in mechanical engineering, the best engineering school in the world. And people forget how smart he is and how smart his team is. Completely genius, and I'm very happy to see this. They're innovating, their R&D is going to some pretty great stuff, and it does tie Rivian a little bit to kind of this AI trend, which is okay, but it doesn't need to happen for them to succeed, to be tied into all that AI stuff. If it does happen to work out, something like that, that's great, but I don't see this as kind of like an AI play, AI stock. And LiDARs are also going to be available in the future. R2 model is the thing with lasers that maps everything out. So it'll be able to get through rain and fog, stuff like that. And they have their own Rivian Assistant launching in early 2026. This is kind of like Grok, which is in the Tesla, just to kind of help you out. You don't need a crazy AI to talk to when you're in the car. So I'm not too concerned if Tesla or somebody else is a way better model, because it's just an assistant you're talking to in the car, make calendar changes, stuff like that. And this also diversifies Rivian's offering. And as I mentioned earlier, maybe they'll be able to sell some of this tech to other companies or maybe NVIDIA's in a bottleneck and they need other suppliers, stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what this will be used for, but the possibility's there, and it's just an extra thing on top of the cost savings they get from producing their own chips. So part two of AI and autonomy is the autonomy part. So they introduced a large driving model, which is kind of like a large language model, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all those, but for driving, where it can form the best driving strategies without the input of an engineer. Now, I'm sure engineers will be looking over all of that, but this kind of separates it from the rest of the pack. I mean, they could go on to sell that technology to other car makers. I'm not banking on that for my thesis or anything, but there are a few wild cards that are coming into play now here that could break off and cause something even better than what I thought was going to happen. Now, talking on that subject, NVIDIA also does their own kind of driving stuff. I was looking on their website because I saw something on the news about them doing that. But the difference is they run their systems through simulations. Rivian has real world data, so they have a huge advantage there. And they're targeting the eyes-off driving, also known as Level 4, which is similar to Tesla's target by 2027. And it's going to be at a price of $2,500 one-time purchase or $50 a month. And this is half Tesla's price and much lower on the one time, but it's half Tesla's price on the month offer. So pretty good. There's some huge advantages to Rivian's autonomous driving, and the first one is LiDAR. So Tesla avoids LiDAR because of cost, but this allows Rivian to be much more capable in worse conditions like heavy rain and snow, also fog. Now, it's not perfect, and this still requires some regulation to get through, but this provides kind of the most accurate autonomous vision possible, while Tesla has vision only. And where that fails is they will not be able to get regulation likely as fast, or there'll be some kind of limitation where they aren't allowed to be eyes off in rain, snow, or fog and stuff like that, because vision isn't perfect. But Rivian's covers all the bases. So you have LiDAR that works through rain and snow Okay, not rain and snow because of the lasers, but radar works through rain and snow. The camera can also help with that. And LiDAR will work great at night or just basically any time because it measures everything up to the centimeter. Vision isn't that accurate. Now, because they have that joint venture with Volkswagen, their large driving model and their operating software will be in all in Volkswagen EVs, Audi, Scout. They also own those brands and Porsche. And they'll have a much bigger data set than they would have if they just use Rivians. So this will be able to improve the software faster, just like how large language models are trained. Google kind of has an advantage because they own the internet, they can scan the internet, stuff like that. Rivian will have access to all these vehicles, all these types of situations where it'll be able to take advantage of that and improve their software faster. And as they continue this joint venture with all the research, Volkswagen will pay for the majority of the R&D through their joint venture. And that's great because if it allows them to do all this research without fronting the bill, and they probably wouldn't be in the joint venture if Volkswagen wasn't doing that. I mean, Volkswagen's paying a lot for the technology, and honestly, that's something I should have paid more attention to. I mean, paying $5 billion for some software from a smaller company, I should have taken more notice of that, but it all makes sense now. It really does. And the large driving model is not part of the joint venture, so if Volkswagen decided to use that model, they would be paying Rivian a licensing fee. I'm sure they'll be using the rest of their technology, so that'll probably get included. So there's been an update on the Volkswagen partnership from a November Volkswagen press release, and they've scaled to over 1,500 employees. And this just started last year, so it's become pretty big, and Volkswagen's paying for most of this. Just keep that in mind. Winter testing schedules to test their architecture they've made so far. And then the first Volkswagen vehicle with integrated software is announced for 2027. So they're making strong progress. They're trying to get something in the works next year. Hopefully that'll have the large driving model or something similar from Rivian so they can get licensing fees. And hopefully other companies tag along with that. But they also have an expansion in Berlin to integrate that tech into Volkswagen's other brands like Audi and Porsche, those other European brands. And of course, this is what my thesis was mostly based off of. There is the R2 hype, and analysts are starting to take notice of that. So I started off like a year early because I thought people would start buying sooner. I did it way too early, but it's starting to happen now, and some investors may be moving in. There also may be some investors who see the AI opportunity as well, some tech investors that get excited about this stuff. And you should be excited for it, but I wouldn't bank anything off of that. I'm still bullish on the company itself and their automotive operations. And there's been quite a few analyst upgrades to strong buys, and it's done pretty well since then, as we can see, up almost 50% since I made the video. And we're still waiting for that R2 launch, and the market might have a good or bad reaction depending on when they put it. I think we'll see a negative reaction if it gets pushed out to the second half of 2026. Now, if it's going to be in the first half of 2026, I think we'll see a bit of a positive reaction. So my outlook remains the same. I still give this a strong buy even after the run-up it's had. I think their automotives is going to do better, and nothing but good things have come out. Their technology keeps improving, and I think it's okay to say they're in the lead for on the road, like level 4 driving for everyday individuals. I know Waymo has their thing with taxis, but for Rivian, they have those 3-tiered systems, which may make it a bit more expensive. But I think people would be willing to pay for that level 4 stuff relative to Tesla, who probably won't be able to offer that in the same time that Rivian does, just because they have vision. And if that is the case, if they do get approval, it'll be different because Rivians will be able to be used in the rain and snow more likely. We don't know that for certain, but it'll definitely be a better system than Tesla has right now. And that could kind of change the narrative, all these tech bros investing in Tesla, they might be like, oh, look at a Rivian, with the much better systems, much better self-driving. And we could see some investors shift from that as well. We could see buyers move into Rivian as well because it's the tech leader now. If that becomes the case, that's not clear yet. Tesla still has their AI, robots, and stuff like that. But there's more potential for that now, a much better chance of that happening. And of course, I still think the R2 demand is undervalued. I talked about that in my first video, and I think it'll send the stock to have a great 2026 when that demand finally shows up. And I'm still holding. I'm maintaining my strong buy rating. And thank you guys for watching. I'll hope to do some more updates on this stock in the future. I'm looking forward to what this thing brings and some others. I'm going to do some more updates on a couple of other stocks for my next few videos. With that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of my writing, I write articles on Seeking Alpha now. I'll put a link to my profile in the description if you want to check those out. I highly recommend it. Make sure to check out my links in the description, my LinkedIn. Connect with me on there. I'm looking to get to that 500 plus. Check out my Twitter. I post a lot of stuff on there. And with that said, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.